Salut Adrien, c'est Kai. I am in Oakland, California. Je suis aux États-Unis. My French is comme ci, comme ça. So I'm glad that your English is good. So with your permission, I will make this little video in English. So I wanted to thank you for reaching out and introduce myself in person. Um, some of the music that you like is also some of my favorite, like the Night Fly. I wore that one out, and also Brand X. I know Do They Hurt, and two of my favorite albums that you might want to check out is Unorthodox Behavior, and one that's really beautiful is I think it's called Livestock, and then Moroccan Roll. Those albums are my favorite ones with Percy Jones. So I do understand you play the fretless, four string, six string fretted, good understanding of harmony, um, and it is not required in this program to be at any particular level of proficiency, but what I am trying to do is connect with you right where you are, and then kind of like be a resource for you, and also uh, encourage you to focus on the small step. You know, if you gain a better understanding of the learning process, and that becomes a vehicle for self-knowledge, you will find that your natural motivation, la motivation naturelle, uh, gets stronger, and that will make you resilient. So, in other words, to me, even after playing with McLaughlin, you know, on a high level of musicianship, oh, thanks, by the way, for appreciating live at the Royal Festival Hall with Treelock. Very fortunate, of course, to have been part of that. But what I meant to say is, I realized that um, the reason that I play music cannot be to get better and better and better. Um, if you look at better as being faster, more complicated, more impressive, there is something else that is going on, and this goes more back to what motivated me to start playing music in the beginning when I was like a teenager and I had no idea I wanted to be a professional. There was something that was calling me in the music, and now that I'm getting older, I'm coming back to that. I want to put a microscope on that process, the connection, you know, between the spirit, the mind, and the body. And that is actually a very interesting journey, and I would be happy to share with you what I've learned. Um, the result for me is that by taking that very seriously, I may not progress as fast as someone else who's practicing 5, 6, 7 hours a day, but every time I practice, I have a connection that is hypnotic, you know. It's almost like meditation for me to play the bass. And so I always look at how I deliver the music being as important as what it is that I'm playing. So I'll be happy to share this with you because, as you indicated, family problems can be serious, and so can health problems, financial problems, climate change, um, you know, depression. All these things are very normal, you know, in the world of human beings, and it's always going on in the background. So, what I want to help you with is to direct your focus on your bass guitar in such a way that it actually helps you cope with, you know, whatever your problems are that you're facing right now. And I do that for myself as well, you know. So in a way, the mentorship program is tailored to um, something I came up with for myself because I was in a crisis at one point where I was working a lot with different groups, recording sessions, you know, good stuff, but I lost connection to that inner little flame, of the next creative thing that wanted to come out, excuse me, but did not have a chance to do so. So I had to squeeze time for myself because I also have children. I have two children and a wife, and they are now going to college. So there's always big drama and, anxieties and fears, and, that is something that can crowd out the motivation to focus on music. So I found a way, to make it work, and I hope that I can transfer that knowledge or understanding to you, my student, so to speak. So let me tell you a little bit about the technique of how the program works. Basically, uh, I I will offer to be your music mentor for the time being, um, for 108 days. So from day one to day 108 is one stretch for the mentorship program. In the beginning, before you start, um, I usually take a little bit of time to have a conversation with you about what's the best way to start. Um, my goal is to focus on one topic, and then when I know what that topic is, I will actually make a custom exercise that fits you and your desire to learn. I will record it in here, send it to you as a video link. I upload it to YouTube, and then you can work on it, um, and take all the time you need. I try to make it so that you can do it within a week to 10 days. If you need more time or you finish early, it's totally fine. Like, I'm flexible in these terms. There's no limit as to how often we communicate. We can just go with the flow. Um, I usually respond within like 3 to 5 days. And if it takes longer, then sometimes what I'll do is I'll add some extra days on the back end, because there's been situations where I've been called to go on a road trip and it took me like a few days longer to respond. So if that happens, I will communicate that, and sometimes I can turn around a video in a day if I'm already in the studio. So the rules of the program are very simple. It's basically, what I would like you to do is to work on whatever we choose to do for 1 minute a day minimum, and take 12 days off maximum. So you have the 108-day stretch. 12 days you can take off, one here, one there, so that you can actually make it work even if your life is really challenging. Um, and it turns out that actually is a good thing to have it down to a minute, because I've had situations where students of mine were dealing with cancer. I had somebody whose daughter, pretty heavy stuff, like daughter was addicted to drugs, had to be hospitalized, and all of that is going on while he's trying to practice his instrument. But we managed to actually make it work, and it turns out that the music kind of helped him just kind of stay focused, not to freak out. You know what I mean? So life is life. It's always like that. But the 108 days, it's very flexible. You can stay with the same subject, or you can shift gears. So you basically are in the driver's seat and can determine, um, uh, at, at, at the point where you finish an exercise, you send it back to me, I check it out via video. At that point, you can change the subject and say, okay, let's move from this to this. And then I move with you. You see what I mean? I'm like one step right behind you, and I look out for problems. If I see shortcuts that you can take, to get ahead a little faster, I will tell you my little tricks. I have some tricks when it comes to complicated stuff, and um, keeping a fresh state of mind so that you can see the possibilities that you might not be seeing otherwise. So that is my job as your mentor. And other than that, I want to approach it um, with mainly with a lot of compassion, knowing that we're all human beings and we live through a difficult time right now, Um, climate change, I understand what's going on in Paris right now, Le Grève. I was in Paris last year in April for 14 Juillet, um, and les Gilets jaunes were disrupting the parade. It was interesting. But we like France because France has a strong, proud people's movement that will say no if the government is trying to sell them out. So we need in the United States right now what you have because we are in trouble with this president, as you can see. So, but from the politics back to the music, I am very interested in helping you advance your music. And I hope I gave you the information. Any questions? I'm there for you. I will send you everything you need to sign up. Wishing you good luck and all the best from Oakland, California. Salut.